doesn't love the makeup and the fashion from the 60s? They were playing with a lot of shapes, a lot of color, and just generally having a ball. So today we're gonna try out a modern take on a 60s eye. Okay guys, so we're gonna be starting out with a NYX liner called Teal. Imagine that. So I wanted to include makeup that was less expensive in this tutorial. I was noticing there was too much expensive product, and I'm a firm believer it is not what you use, it is how you use it. So now I'm going in and taking a brush and putting the product on my lid. This is gonna help disperse it and make my lid a little tacky so the eyeshadow has something to cling to. Next, I'm using my BH palette. I think it's a BH palette, or it might be some generic version of that I got at the IMAX. And I'm just basically packing that all over the lid and using a paddle brush. This is firmer, so it's gonna deposit it more like a finger and give you a more concentrated color. I think I paid about 10 bucks for that palette. You don't have to buy it at a makeup show. Elf Cosmetics has some really good stuff. You can find a lot of things at your local drugstore, just a matte teal eyeshadow or whatever color you choose. Now I'm just kind of carving out the shape of my graphic liner with an angle brush and a little bit of a gel liner. So this is just one of those like waterproof black track type colors. I don't even know which one I used. It might have been NYX, it might have been a Maybelline one. I have a few of them floating around. It doesn't really matter, as long as it works. So I'm just taking that along my lash line and then into my crease. And now I'm really carving it out with a liquid liner on top. So I actually had to cheat it a little bit because I have incredibly round eyes. My eyelid tends to contract and expand quite a bit when I blink. This meant that in order to keep the makeup from stamping itself, I had to have a thicker crease. So you'll see that was just me thickening it up. It was a whole lot of mundane action. It didn't need to be shown. I just made the line thicker. That is all you missed. Okay, so I actually find that on aged eyelids, I have far more control going in with an angle brush or a flat brush than I do with a liner brush. This is because it enables me to kind of work it into the lash line and stamp it in instead of dragging it along the lid, which creates a serrated edge on any eye with texture, which is a fancy word for wrinkles. Just kind of dragging that across so you can see where I cheated the crease and really working it into the lash line. Okay, so now I'm just going in and warming up the crease with a fluffy brush and a blush type color or an orangey eyeshadow, pinky eyeshadow will work as long as it's nice and matte for this look. So I think you guys have heard me say that I don't like to do my brows very dark initially because depending on the balance of the makeup, I will go in and darken them. Sometimes it doesn't always look great to have plastered on eyebrows. So you want to wait and see what the balance of your liner, your lashes, everything is going to be before you go making them look like you drew them on with a Sharpie. For this, I'm just using a really fine angle brush and a matte brown eyeshadow that's really cool, not warm. What that means is it's more charcoal than orange. Now I kind of start in the middle of the brow and then work it forward. That's also how you keep it looking relatively natural. I say natural because clearly they're not, but you keep it not looking like you stamped it on by drawing it on right at the front. Okay, so things get messy. So I'm just going in, carving it out and cleaning it up. You want to be careful not to bring this down too low because you'll wipe out that nice warm crease that helped blend everything. I'm using a cream concealer because we have a more dramatic eye. No 60s inspired makeup would be complete without tons of mascara. And also you can double up lashes if you like as well. So I'm also going in and whitening the waterline. In the 60s, they actually used to use straight up white liner as well, so you can feel free to do that if you'd like. Now because we had quite a bit of eyeshadow flying around, I have to go in and touch up my foundation, which is why I didn't put that much on in the first place. To be clear, I only put foundation on in the beginning of my tutorials because I have rosacea and it looks crazy without it. If I'm doing my makeup at home, I don't put any of that on until after I've already done my eyes. A lot of my friends have been very confused by that because it's one of my biggest tips. Now I gotta say, a fun part of filming these tutorials is watching how much I work against myself when I'm contouring. If I were you, I would go in with a smaller brush so that it's not as blown out and you don't have to touch it up later on. So I am hollowing out my cheeks and then just going in with a cream blush from NYX that's very pinky just to kind of complete the look. It's so funny when you're working on yourself because it's hard to see the sides of your own cheeks, but it's so much easier to see the sides of clients' cheeks. So contouring in these videos has been quite enlightening. So now I'm just going on and adding a little bit of a highlight to the pop of my cheek, right where the light would hit. I'm just blending that with my finger. Now I'm going in with some lashes. You can even double these up if you'd like. My eyes had it at this point. I had filmed about 3 tutorials earlier that day, one of which had red pigment in it, which my eyes were not happy with at all. That's why there's absolutely no makeup underneath my eyes. If you look closely, you can even see a red irritated spot where my eye won't stop watering due to the red pigment. That is actually an allergy that a lot of people have. So if you find that putting blush on your eye or any kind of red pigment gives your eyes a huge reaction, that's quite normal. A lot of people have a reaction to red pigment or really bright pink pigment or purple pigment. So I'm just cleaning up my brows. That's why I'm telling you about red pigment, because you've been through this with me before. This is the point where I decided my hair would look better down. I have since decided that was not the case, but if I had lipstick on and didn't show you that I put lipstick on, it would be a little confusing. So I am just going in with Subculture liner per lip gloss, and I put a little bit of Creme de Nude on before that. Those are matte colors, but honestly, you can just pick whatever nude shade works best for you. And now I've decided that I can't quite get my hair to look red, and I'm ultimately figuring out what I definitely know looking back in editing. There it is. So now you have the final look. This is a graphic liner, 60s inspired tutorial, kind of fun, just a way to play around and have a good time with some makeup. And also guys, Halloween's coming up, so I'm gonna be filming tutorials for that starting now. And I wanna get everybody's suggestions and requests for the things that you wanna see. Do bear in mind, I don't like to plagiarize other makeup artists' designs, but I'm happy to recreate things I've seen in comic books and come up with my own interpretation of other artworks. So yeah, please feel free to subscribe and tell me what you want to see. Thanks for watching.